Hi everyone, this is Maddie, one of the naturalists here at Gulf Branch Nature Center, bringing you this week's 5-Minute Find, where we explore often overlooked seasonal happenings in 5 minutes or less. Out and about in the park, there's a beautiful plant blooming right now called white snakeroot, and I'd love to share more about this plant with you, so as always, give me just a minute to get the camera turned around. Here's our white snakeroot, and if you visited the park at the Nature Center recently, you've probably spotted this plant blooming all throughout the woods. It gets its name from its white flowers and from the false belief that the roots of this plant could be used to treat snake bites. White snakeroot is native to our area, and it's one of many not always closely related plants known as snakeroot that you can find in our forests. It typically gets between 1.5 feet to 3 feet tall and prefers to grow in light shade or partial sun, which is what we're seeing here. The sunlight is making its way through the canopy all the way down to the forest floor where this snakeroot is growing. All parts of snakeroot are considered poisonous to people thanks to a toxin found in the plant called trematol. The toxins can pass through the milk of dairy cattle that eat snakeroot, causing an illness called milk sickness. This is not something we have to be worried about today, but it was something that early European settlers had to contend with, and there are some who believe that this is actually what killed Abraham Lincoln's mother. Although it's poisonous to people, white snakeroot is considered a beneficial plant. That's because of its flowers. You can see the flowers here. They are often clustered together in tiny groups of 10 or more. And then those groups of 10 or more are arranged in what we call an umbel, which is sort of like an upside down umbrella shape. It is one of the last plants to bloom in the fall, and this makes it incredibly important to insects and other species that are dependent on pollen and nectar as a food source. It attracts many different species of bees, including leaf-cutting bees, sweat bees, as well as flower flies, bee flies, butterflies, and moths. And we're definitely seeing some action here on the snakeroot today. If we zoom out a little bit, we can see insects buzzing all around, collecting nectar as well as pollen from these tiny clusters of flowers. The leaves of snakeroot, which have toothed edges, a long leaf stem, and are arranged opposite one another along the plant, are also an important source of food to a number of moth caterpillars, including the ruby tiger moth and the Eupatorium borer moth, as well as a species of fly larvae. If you're out and about in Arlington this week, be sure to keep an eye out for white snakeroot and take a minute to appreciate it. Thanks so much for joining me to learn a little bit more this week, and hopefully we'll see you next week for another 5-Minute Find.